Safe by Orphaned Account on AO3. Episode 3. Chapter 3. Hizashi returned to the kitchen, smile fading as he went. Aizawa was at the sink, washing his mug from earlier. Hizashi walked over and hugged him. He nuzzled his head into Aizawa's shoulder, mirroring their hug from earlier. Aizawa tugged around and gave Hizashi a real embrace, letting his husband bury his head in the crook of his neck. Hizashi gave a shaky exhale and held on tighter. "He's gonna be okay," Aizawa murmured. "I know, it's just..." Aizawa hummed in agreement. They stood together for another minute before they moved to the table, sitting next to each other. There was a stack of papers that hadn't been there when Hitoshi was being patched up. Aizawa must have gotten it while Hizashi was getting the kid settled. Aizawa broke the short sentence. "Sorry about bringing him home on such a short notice." "It's fine." Mike paused. It kind of seemed like it was only a matter of time. Hizashi reached for a folder on the table. "We should start a report on his foster family," he said. "Can we legally keep him with us?" "We should be able to. We're certified foster parents. And pros." How do you feel about that, Sashi?" "I feel the same way I did the last time we talked about this." They sat in silence for the next few minutes. Aizawa leaned over and put his head on Hisashi's shoulder, looking over the folder with him. "I'll get the official report started tonight," Aizawa said, "and I'll call Nezu in the morning to see what he can do." "We'll do a license, right? Foster and adoption?" Hisashi asked. "I'll get a hold of Shinsou's caseworker in the morning to officially report his foster family. I can get our fostering paperwork started then, too." "Sashi?" "Yeah?" He raised his head and kissed Hisashi on the cheek. "Thanks." Hisashi blushed before tilting Aizawa's head higher to give him a kiss. "Don't thank me, Sho. We both wanted this." They sat together for a little while longer, shoulder to shoulder. Hisashi finished his graining, while Aizawa started on the report. They both pulled in their testimonies of Hitoshi, injuries, and general demeanor. "God, Sho. Did you see him freeze when I put my hand on his shoulder? I didn't mean to scare him, but he just seemed so anxious." He did the same thing when I started checking his ribs." It's times like these when I wonder if being a villain is such a bad thing. I have a few choice moves I'd share with whoever did this." "We're heroes, Hisashi." "I could jellify the Oregon show. I could literally do that. They wouldn't stand a chance." Aizawa chuckled. "I could hide the bodies. I have connections." "What bodies? They'd be jelly." "We could feed them to the cats." They both chuckled after that. Hisashi stood up. "Back to serious business. I'm going to bed. Join me?" "I'm gonna work a little more on the report. I want to have a solid list of questions to ask Hitoshi if he was up for it in the morning." "Fair enough." Hisashi bent down to kiss his husband. "Don't stay up too late. I love you." "Good night, Sashi. Love you too." Hisashi wandered in the direction of his bedroom. Aizawa dimmed the lights almost all the way and started working again. Wow, okay. That one was a short episode. Did not expect it to be that short. It was short. I don't have much to say other than I like the fact that we're moving forward. Now, some of that dialogue, I feel more comfortable saying this knowing that I don't know who the author is, but I don't know. Knowing that I don't know who the author is and that they might not see this makes me have a little... I feel like the dialogue was a little blocky, to say the least. There were certain moments where it's like, I notice this a lot now when doing stuff like that. I really hope that my dialogue doesn't seem blocky. I always try not to make it blocky, but, you know, sometimes things happen. You can't really unblockify shit. But, I really hope that my dialogue is not this blocky. It's not even that blocky. It's just certain points where it's like, okay, clearly this dialogue was not a dialogue between two people, but the reader the writer, if that makes sense. So the dialogue wasn't meant for these two characters talking to each other, and it was more the character telling the audience that, hey, we have a license, right? Something that could be a little more organic, I guess, would be, it was a dialogue that actually was in this, is it dual license for both adoption and fostering, right? Right, asking like, hey, did we get the dual license or was it, blank? Which, again, it would still be a bit blocky. I mean, sometimes you cannot unblockify something. Sometimes it will always be blocky no matter what you do. But it would be a little less blocky, a little more dynamic. Like, you have to think about it in this perspective if you're a writer out there writing fan fictions or regular books or whatever it is. Regular books, God. If you're writing fan fictions or books or, I don't know, what else could it be? Creepypastas, or short stories, or whatever it is that you're writing out there, whether it be fan fiction or original work. Not that fan fiction isn't original work, but I mean based off, whatever, you get my point. But it doesn't matter what you're fucking writing, and it is story-based, like, narration kind of story-based. When two characters are talking, remember this. This is two people talking to each other. Right, this is two people who have emotions and feelings talking to each other. You have to come into account that people don't always say what they mean. People say one thing, but they mean another thing. I've done this in my writing before, where people say one thing, but they mean another thing. In fact, in Fluffy Mind, there is an instance of this. Hold up, I'm pulling it up. In Fluffy Mind, there is an instance of this. This is the one that comes to mind the most. I mean, I think... Yeah, Fluffy Mind, open to new tab, and I think also, Headlock, here. I think it's in chapter 2, I believe. Or, I haven't written it yet. Have I wrote it yet? I think I have. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, this chapter makes me cry each time I see this. Oh, I haven't written it yet. Or have I? Where is it? I'm trying to see if I have it here, but I can't find it. Ah, maybe I didn't write it in this one. Did that not happen in this one? Maybe... No, it didn't happen in this one. I guess it happens in the next one. It does happen in the next chapter, so I'll just spoil that part. It's not that much of a spoiler, don't worry. But in Fluffy Mind, I know for a fact it's here. Where is it? Meeting some heroes. Go. Here it is. Oh, ignore the children in the background. I know it is here. Where? Over here. I know, but sometimes all we could do... Yeah, Shouta said quietly, but sometimes the best we could do is just be there. I'm not his mom. You are. I'm not. Then be Nem-chan. What's it called? What if love isn't enough? He's been through so much already, and I don't want him to carry that weight alone. Namuri says this. Her meaning in that is not just, what if love isn't enough? What if my love isn't enough? He's been through so much already, and I don't want him to carry that weight alone. I don't want to fail him, is what she really wanted to say, right? Same over here, we're like, I'm not his mom. You are. I'm not. Then be Nem-chan, right? In her mind, what she really wants to say is that I'm not enough for him, right? It's more than just I'm not his mom, right? Obviously, I'm not his mom prevails the most, but in reality, what she's wanting to say is that she feels as though she's going to fail him, that no matter what she does, she is going to fail that boy, and she is not she is not his biological mother. She does not know what to do. She is not only is she not his mom, she's not a mom. She doesn't feel like she is mom material. She feels inadequate. And then, no, it's not this one. Over here, have I did chapter 3 already? No, I haven't. Chapter 3, which is going to be called 3 a.m. for Headlock, for those who are listening to that. It's not in this one. Oh, here it is. The dialogue is just very, very small. Like, I wish I was joking. The chapter block for this is so bad, but it's, Bakugo is basically, you know, being very shitty, and, he gets up to leave, and Izuku stands up. Kachan, I love you. Katsuki leaves without a word. Now, what Izuku is saying is, Kachan, I love you. That is his literal words, what is coming out of his mouth. What he truly means to say in his mind, what is actually underneath those words, because that's the thing. You say one thing, but you mean something else. Sometimes you say one thing and there's underlying pressure for another thing. I love you, Kachan, or Kachan, I love you, whichever phrase I'm gonna end up doing. I'm probably gonna do Kachan, I love you, right? What Izuku really is trying to say there is, don't leave me. Choose me. Don't leave me. Right? But obviously, Izuku's not saying that. Instead, Izuku's saying, I love you. In a way of trying to grab him back in. Right? It's an easier way to say it because he doesn't want to admit that Katsuki is leaving him and choosing someone else. Izuku doesn't want to admit what's happening. So what does he say? He says something else. This happens a lot. Us as humans sometimes don't want to accept what's happening, and instead of saying what we truly mean, we say something completely different. And sometimes it's subconsciously. We think we want to say this, but in reality, we mean something completely different. So you have to keep that in mind when writing dialogue. You also have to keep in mind, these are two characters talking to each other who already know that they're licensed, right? I see this happen a lot in movies more than I see in fanfictions, but in movie dialogue, especially really shitty movies, where they explain what's happening. Like, for example, some doctor shows, they're like, oh, he's going into blank, which means blank, blank, and blank, and blank. You're surrounded by a bunch of other professionals, doctors, medics, nurses. It makes no sense for character A to be explaining to character B what is happening when character A is a trained doctor and character B is also a trained doctor. It makes no fucking sense. You have to keep in mind on what the characters know. If these two characters know that they have a house together, they wouldn't say, do we have a house? Yes, we do. Instead, it would be something more organic, more, let's go back to our house, or let's go back to the house, right? Stuff like that instead of, do we have a house? Do we have this? Right? Obviously, there's certain instances where that type of phrasing is okay. Like, hey, do we still have food in the fridge? No? Okay, I'll go grocery shopping, right? But you have to remember what these characters know and keep and count that when it's talking about this. You have to think about this less as two characters talking to each other and two people talking to each other. Does it make sense for these two people to be saying this stuff when you know damn well that they are both know it in this knowledge? They know this knowledge kind of situation. You have to think about that. Dialogue is very tricky. People think it's very easy. Dialogue is that most hardest shit. It's why I'm writing a fic. It is a chat fic with my partner for a collaboration with a bunch of a bunch of podfickers. But the problem is, It is a chat fic. It is pure dialogue. You know how hard it is? With pure dialogue, it is so fucking hard. But we will make it work. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.